Hello faithful viewers and welcome back to yet another Transformers review. This time we're looking at the Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe class Sideways. Now Sideways here turns into an approximation of an Audi R8. I don't think it's a licensed one though. There isn't any Audi symbol on it anywhere. Nothing on the front, nothing on the back. You can see there's a Decepticon logo, but that's it. But he did turn into an R8 in the film for all of like 3 seconds that you saw him on screen. And I like this vehicle mode, licensed or not. It is really nice actually. Beautiful silver all over the car with you've got the clear plastic headlights on the top there, purple translucent windows all over. You've got like an approximation of like an engine block in the back there. I think that's where it's on the actual car. I think all of that is clear plastic on top all the way through, even that bit that's just painted silver. You've got some nice interesting black stripes along the side there, beautiful silver rims on the tyres, purple lights on the back as well. Rolls quite nicely actually, which is surprising considering all of this gaff that's going on underneath. It does a decent job ish at hiding what's what, because you've got faux tyre, well, a faux tyre there, and then you've got a buzzsaw weapon there, kind of shielding the fists from view. I mean, the legs are a bit more obvious, and you've got like a big gap there, which, I don't know, if he was originally intended to come with a weapon or not, it probably could have stored there. I don't know. But overall, it's a really nice looking vehicle mode. I dig this quite a lot. Now, this is a Revenge of the Fallen figure, so you would expect the transformation sequence to be rather complicated, and the end result we'll get is an interesting robot mode that is kind of modular, and I've seen many people do many different things with the robot mode. I'm going to show you what I do with it, and then we're going to also explore some alternatives. So the first thing that we should do with the transformation is come to the front here, and this is actually a little gimmick that this figure exclusively has. So when you push the front, number one, that flips open, and then number two, the tyres push in like that. I really like that. It's small, it's subtle, but it's so fun, and it's a very neat way of getting these tyres hidden in robot mode. And of course, a lot of people just get this to go off simultaneously with one big push. Just like that, but hey ho. Right, now the next thing that we want to be doing is getting these side pieces disconnected. Now, a word of caution when you're doing that. Start with the back and just get this folded up and just out of the way. Now, the caution, these tabs, they are small and they are very prone to breaking, and as such I have actually had one break on this side. So do be extraordinarily careful when you're trying to get these panels out of the way. But come to the underside, basically lift the arms out, and that'll just help you spread these out even further. And just hoist them and get them, you know, somewhere out of the way like this. Extend the arms, twist them round, just there. We'll leave them hanging and we'll come back to them much later. Let's concentrate on the legs now. First of all, get all of this up and out of the way with as best you can. And then this is arguably one of the more complicated pieces of the transformation sequence. The cell sequence really is quite simple if you know what you're doing. But disconnect these bits via little tabs there that connect into little circular ports there, and just extend the legs all the way out like this, and then come round, keep the leg extended like that, and take these bits and rotate them to the inside, and then twist it round, and you are connecting that extended tab there into this circular port here, just like that. But as you do it, you kind of want to be offsetting this tyre at an angle, flipping the foot forward there and just chicken legging him like so, just keeping that twisted for a bit more of an evil, sharp look. And it will like to untap itself. There we go, now we've got it. And you want to be doing it in such a way that this tyre doesn't get jammed and is still full rotation. And yeah, just claps the leg like so, and that's kind of that. So same thing on this side, rotating that just plugging it in. There we go. Keep him around like that, making sure he is bent correctly there. And then if need to be, we will adjust this again later, but that's the basis of his legs sort of done like that. So turning our attention to the top of the figure now, let's get to this bit and let's just hoist it all up and out of the way. He is looking a bit messy at the minute, but he will clean up very well indeed. And then take this panel, flip it up top, that's his head. Take these bits, and it would help if you could see, those bits there, flip them up. I don't really know what the purpose of that is, but it exists. Disconnect front of the car like that. We'll come back to that because that's part of the whole modular aesthetic we can do with all the options. Connect his torso together just like that with a nice click. Now I hope you can see the red tabs there, and there is a groove on the purple plastic that just slots into both sides. It's kind of personal preference how you want to display this guy, because I've seen people keep these arm panels down, I suppose for a little bit more of a movie accurate look, because this figure is by no means movie accurate. With these chest pieces, I've seen people flare them out like that, which I don't particularly like how that looks. I just don't like the open gappiness of that. What I like to do is bring these down and offset them at an angle, but also just clip them back round. There are extended little tabs there, and I just like to hook them under like that and give him kind of an angled chest. And then I like to take these pieces and flip them all the way up. And my interpretation of how Sideways looks kind of has him looking a bit more like Barricade, because that was the original intention, I believe. Sideways was at some point meant to be Barricade. And there we go. That is transformation complete, and that is Revenge of the Fallen Sideways in, I think, the best looking robot mode that you're going to get out of this mod. And he looks cool. He does look cool, but he's not without his issues, and the primary issue is his feet. Because if you look and see, they are tiny. And you look at the top of the figure, he's got so much going on there. He's got this ginormous backpack that makes him incredibly top heavy. And he's only got these tiny little feet, you know, supporting, number one, chicken legs, but number two, all of that gaff at the top. I don't think they thought that through very well. He needed bigger feet. He really needed bigger feet, because he is difficult to stand and he is difficult to pose. Anybody with side in their name from Revenge of the Fallen seems to be a bugger to stand up. Sideways, side swipe. Somehow he is standing up fairly well, but you can see he's wanting to twist around and fall over. So you just got to find the best kind of orientation for him. So continuing on to look at the figure in greater detail, he has a really menacing head sculpt. I like that quite a lot. I couldn't possibly tell you if it's movie accurate, considering that you never get a look at his head in the film, but going off the Revenge of the Fallen game, it's not too different, and he does have, of course, the magical thing of light piping. It's quite subtle considering his tiny eyes, but you can see they do illuminate decently in a nice shade of purple, just like that. Again, with the chest, you can do whatever you want with it, but I like angling it like that, just to kind of make it a little bit more streamlined. I like angling all the panels up like that for a Barricade kind of look. The arms are a little bit bland, but just one complete black with no other shading or anything to help break them up. But there is some nice detailing on them, as there is on the red torso, just like that. He does have a bit of a skinny torso, and he is actually quite lanky, considering all of the kibble that he's got on him. Of course, he's got the chicken legs and these tiny, ridiculous feet. But I've already complained enough about them. But overall, his profile, whilst not accurate to the film or to the game, I quite like it. I do quite like it. Now, in terms of gimmickry, for lack of a better term, what does he have? Well, he's got this buzzsaw on his right fist, which is capable of rotating round. like so. And then in terms of Mecha Life, which was the whole Revenge of the Fallen gear system gimmickry thing, when you bend his right elbow, there is some like grey gears right there, which you can see kind of turning. It is a little bit naff. He doesn't really have much in the way of Mecha Life. It does that sideways. There are some other cutouts right there, which if you squint, you can see some gears turning, but it's very, very subtle, and they didn't really care much regarding Mecha Live with this guy, clearly. In terms of articulation then, sideways his head can rotate 360 degrees. You can't really look up or down though, it's just a rotation thing. At the shoulder, he can rotate all the way around there, although it does angle itself a bit because of the nature of the joint. You kind of got sort of a butterfly thing going on there, although not much. You have a bicep rotation of 360 degrees. You've got elbow articulation of over 90 degrees due to transformation, and then you've got nothing at the fists whatsoever. He has nothing in terms of an ab crunch. He does surprisingly though have a waist articulation of about that far that way and about that far that way, which is interesting considering that these two are separate pieces, and you'd have thought the transformation would hinder that, but apparently not. He has an impressive forward kick. He has a good back kick. I was about to say impressive, but I stopped myself because it's kind of like realistic. He does have a very good spread, as you can see with that leg. He does have the ability to rotate at the thigh and the hip, just a little bit of wiggle waggle. In terms of the knees, it's the chicken leg system going on, so he has a decent bend at the knee for what it is. And then at the feet, due to the ball joint, they have quite a lot of options, so a little bit of tiltage up and down, of course. Overall articulation for sideways, considering his stature and his general profile, is actually quite impressive. He's just a little bit of a bugger to stand up thanks to the size of his fetums. For size comparisons then, here is sideways next to Sideswipe from Revenge of the Fallen. Here is sideways next to Breakaway. Here he is next to Recon Barricade. Here he is next to Cybertron sideways. And then here he is next to Mysterio. So that has been our look at the Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Class sideways. I have a soft spot for this figure, considering that he was one of the first Revenge of the Fallen figures I ever got. I do think he's good. I don't think the mould is perfect. As I've gone through the review, I have spoken about the little nitpicks I have. But I do genuinely think it is remarkably solid. I think the profile he gives off, while not accurate to how he looks in other media at all, I think it's good. Now, I know that there are other versions of this guy that exist. Most notably, Dead End comes to mind from Revenge of the Fallen also, who's like a black version with a different head sculpt. I don't think Dead End's head sculpt is as good as Sideways. And then there is also, from Age of Extinction of all things, Dino. Yeah. The first Dino that came out used Sideways' mould. I think I actually did say that in Dino's review for the Studio Series. So those are the most notable alternate versions of this guy that are out there. I think all of them are good to their own degrees. Maybe those Sideways here is the best of the bunch. It just depends on what you like in terms of colour, I suppose. I would recommend this figure. I would recommend any version of him, to be honest. I just think it's solid. Not perfect, but you're going to have a good time with him regardless. Just try and be careful making him stand, because he is a little bit cumbersome in that regard. But other than that, he's a great time. So thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.